paper then, presentation, Evolving Orbits and Antennas Addressing 5G Transformation. And this is by Joe Loor, and he's out of what was Newtech. He's now ST Engineering iDirect. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, Barry. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to be here, and it's also an honor to share a bit our vision of the satellite industry. And we heard from the Turkish government, as well as from Turksat and from Prof, and how important the innovations in space are, and how important innovations in 5G are as well, to close the digital divide. So these are some of the topics I would like to address here in my short presentation. So I'm the VP Market Development and Strategy at ST Engineering. So I'm not here to talk too much about our company. So we are a ground segment provider, but recently we came together, both iDirect and Newtech. We become one company since 1st of October. So with that, we bring, of course, a lot of capabilities together to address the challenges and the future of our industry. So we really have an extensive portfolio, and together we are really a powerhouse when it comes to ground segment technology for Satcom. So, but let's move to the subject of the presentation, and that's about the innovations. So when we look, and it's good for us, we talked about the opportunities in the market. There's a lot of things which are happening, both in space and on the ground. So in space, there's a lot of evolution happening on the orbits, and a lot of innovations are happening there. So we're talking today about GEO, MEO, and LEO type of services, constellations, because we're not talking anymore about one satellite, but a fleet of satellites in a typical case, either in GEO, MEO, LEO. We're talking about very flexible, programmable payloads, digital payloads, beamforming. We're talking about high altitude platforms in certain cases, which are platforms which are close to Earth, but which are let's say, pseudo satellites. And of course, we are talking about this because there's a reason for it. The reason is, of course, we want to meet the demands of the market to serve the customers and to close the digital divide. So what are the demands? There's demands for more capacity. We need to deliver more gigabits at an affordable cost, of course, to the regions where it's needed. We need to improve the service levels. We need to have a good customer experience. But to achieve that, you also need better coverage. So you need to be able to deliver the capacity when and where needed. Of course, the LEO and the MEO orbits, they bring the lower latency, which is also going to be a game changer. And of course, when you are an operator, either a satellite operator or a service provider, you're looking also for flexibility to address the customer needs. So that's what's happening in space. At the same time, there's innovation in ground, and I think we're all have been looking forward for this as well. And so if you look at it from an innovations on the ground perspective, you see that there's a big drive now to electronically steered flat panel antennas. So those are these antennas that can form the beams and steer to the satellites very dynamically. And of course, these have some benefits. So it's unlocking further communications on the move markets, because this has been a challenging market from time to time, because there was not a very good product fit. It's a key element as well to grow the business in LEO and MEO constellations, which need tracking antennas. And of course, it's also relevant for GEO type of deployments, because assume that we have these easy to mount, easy to install type of terminals as we move forward. It's also simplifying the installations. Now, there's a lot of companies working on this, and I think they have a good promise as well in cost and performance, but the technology is maturing as we speak, so it has a large potential, and it will come to the market. And if it can reach the volumes, it will be a game changer in general for the satellite industry. So next to that, of course, there's also expanding and new markets which we can address. We were already talking about 5G before. So 5G is going to be very important. It's a way to deliver new services or expanded services to the consumers. But also 5G is a game changer when it comes to addressing the market requirements in the different vertical markets, because 5G architecture is based on a network of networks. So it's really driving to become where satellite is becoming part of the infrastructure. to play with. So it's unifying satellite and terrestrial and blending in satellite into the network of networks. That's the key driver. So new applications emerging, connected cars, with the promise, of course, of connecting consumer cars over satellites. But initially, there will be a focus on first responders, trains, buses, type of applications. Delivery of media will also change, over the top delivery, OTT or CDN. Feeding the networks is going to be important. And then last but not least, also IoT and M2M communications. We're seeing big growth, and we need to work on this, that of course satellite plays its role where it's very good. That's addressing a large coverage area and a large installed base where needed. So this is a bit simplified view how we see the connectivity mix of the future. So what you see here is convergence of satellite and terrestrial. So that's a key element. We see in this industry that satellite is very important, but in most of the cases where satellite is used, it's let's say, working in tandem with terrestrial services as well. So this is what we call a multi-orbit environment as well, and I would say the lowest orbit is terrestrial, and then on top of that we add LEO, MEO, and GEO type of services. So the connectivity mix of the future is really a hybrid environment. Now, if you look at it from the demand perspective and the scale that we need to achieve to be successful, these innovations and the flexibility provided in space, for example, they also increase the complexity. So the ground segment part, the ground segment technology will be key to solve the dynamics and to enable multi-orbit strategy for our customers. I think most of us will realize that the future is this multi-orbit environment. So there's a few elements which are essential to be successful into that. So how can we enable these multi-orbit strategies? First of all, it's through enabling it's through delivering a seamless user experience. So that's the prerequisite overall. We have to deliver seamless user experience. I think Carl was talking about the aero market, but this applies to any market. User experience is essential. This is why people will adopt services, satellite services, hybrid services, terrestrial services. So no compromises on the user experience. Secondly, if we want to be successful, we need to scale. So we need to be able to serve all the Satcom markets in this environment. That means a mix of air, sea, and land connectivity, either fixed or mobile connectivity. Then we were talking about the flexibility as well, which is provided. So we need to unlock this flexibility, and we need to be able to deliver the right service at the right time, at the right place. So that's how we can optimize the use of our scarce resources, so resource management end-to-end. And then, of course, that this can be equally implied and applied to the services on the ground. This is key. So integrating end-to-end resource management is a key aspect. And then to scale the services, we cannot do this anymore in a manual way. So we have to evolve to a fully automated way, an orchestrated way, where we can, in an automated way, deliver the services and take care of the service lifecycle management. If we are evolving to satellites which can form a beam on the fly, we would need to be able to populate the service within that beam also on the fly. So automating the end-to-end services is a key aspect. And then, of course, it's also coming back to what we started from a 5G perspective. We need to blend in satellite into the overall mix of 5G. So this should be one of our drivers of the industry, is that we become integral part of the 5G solution where satellite is relevant. And then last but not least, bandwidth efficiency and operational scalability. These remain important. Bandwidth efficiency is how we utilize our satellite resources in the most optimal way. And operational scalability is how we can scale the networks to serve more customers. So this comes back to automation, optimization, and reducing the OpEx costs. So this is satellite and the 5G networks of networks in a simplified way. So there's a few elements that you can see here. Of course, there's 5G, there's carrier Ethernet services, and that's also, of course, a big evolution, is to standardize the way we will deliver services in the future. So there's new space, all the innovations in space when it comes to GEO, HTS, MEO, LEO type of solutions. And then on the left side, you see also we need to be creative and adopt the evolution as well from what's happening on the ground part, and that's, of course, utilizing cloud infrastructure, utilizing software-defined networking, network function virtualization. So this is how we can improve the rollout of satellite services by being able to use these technologies and optimize the ground infrastructure, both from a cost and a service delivery perspective. So we are actively working on these elements. So today we are deploying our technology in a private cloud environment, and we see the future as well going to public cloud type of services to roll out infrastructure where it's relevant. Again, both options will be possible. So we talked about as well the operational complexity, and I see the animation is not working. Give it another try. Yeah, there it is. So in terms of reducing optimizing the operational complexity, yeah, we have to look at all the elements. So we look at different elements, how to deliver services, but we also look on, for example, how to optimize managing the frequency resources and managing the carrier plans. So we develop technologies which is fully optimizing and self-organizing the carrier plans of the return link in a VSAT platform. So this is fully QoS-driven, can work with small, large terminals, takes care of regrowth management. So it's efficiency, it's reliability, it's throughput in a fully self-organizing way. So in the end, it's all about virtualization and automation. So this is what's going to be very key in the future. We need to evolve to an end-to-end delivery of services which is taking care of these key elements in order to scale and to reach the volumes and the potential that we want to achieve. So we talked about 5G as well, of course. We need to take our role as an industry. So we are very active in 5G when working with technology partners, standards organization, industry initiatives, consortium and projects. So we're demonstrating use cases in 5G satellites as well, so that 5G really becomes relevant when we move forward, including satellite as well. So another good example is that we demonstrated the first 5G demonstration over a LEO satellite together with Telesat. So together with University of Surrey and Vodafone, we did a demonstration of connecting 5G over a LEO satellite, which was the first ever. So in the end, it's about bringing innovations and opportunities together. So that's our key mission as an industry. So we need to handle well the evolution and match the requirements to be successful. So we see a lot of flexibility in terms of what's coming to market in space and on ground. So we need platforms which are scalable for all markets and all constellations. So we need to roll out the services in an agile way, in a flexible way, but also in an assured way. So we cannot compromise the user experience. So we have to automate rollout of services. And of course, we need to keep working hard as an industry so that satellite is part of 5G overall, and that customers can choose their connectivity mix of the future. So thank you very much, and I look forward for any further questions.